All right. Oh, I am almost a little bit scared to talk about this topic, but I think it's reached a point where hey Kevin, welcome. I wanted to talk about this because over the past few years, from being a super crazy Berkeley liberal to where I am today. Okay, so I really felt that it was necessary for me to clarify this because it ties into everything that I believe in terms of success, in terms of business, and how people can change. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about where I came from. Okay, so I used to be a Democrat all my life, voted for Obama twice, and even wrote an article about how racism and sexism was still alive, apparently, since Donald Trump was elected president. And I can see why I felt that way because, in previous times, I really thought, oh, I'm held back because I'm Asian in America, and I'm held back because I was born a woman and not a man. And throughout just, owning a business, having conversations with people from completely different backgrounds than I was, and being in an environment that was more, both sides, and just having friends from very diverse backgrounds, it really taught me that I had to clarify a lot of the beliefs that I had. So I wanted to share with you what really made me decide to change, okay? And here's the thing. I still run the Successful Immigrants as a company. I still help immigrants learn how to succeed. And over the last 3 years, I've been able to help about 200 or so of my clients, with their job hunt. And I started to notice certain things. I started noticing that the people who say it's the economy's fault, the people who say, oh, it's because of my visa's fault, the people who talk about discrimination. So here's the thing. I don't think discrimination doesn't exist because everybody experiences discrimination to some extent. Certain people look a certain, prettier girls get treated a different way. And, there's good parts about that, but also prettier girls may be assumed to be brainless. And if you're a man, yes, you will get certain advantages. Being a man, people will assume certain things about you, but you get shafted in other ways as well. So I started really thinking about what it is I believe, right? And I started seeing a lot of my clients who would succeed. They were people who were just relentless. Like, sometimes they didn't even have internships throughout school like I did. I was just, not, just focused on graduating. But they never let anything stand in their way. Okay. So I really saw that the people who were successful were the ones who didn't talk about the economy, who didn't talk about how they were disadvantaged, who like really focused on changing themselves. Right? And throughout a lot of like the conversations I've had, in the end, I started seeing how this sort of like benevolent condescension towards certain immigrant groups was just like, it was just so condescending. It was like treating a group of people because of their skin color as children. And then I'm not saying that people are not discriminated against. I'm sure there are always cases of that, but I think Patrice O'Neill puts it in a really awesome way. It's like, not common, racism is like Bigfoot. Like, you can't really prove it, right? You can't really prove somebody does that. But the good thing is that since everybody is discriminated against anyways, might as well make the best of it, right? I used to think all the things that I think are advantages today were disadvantages. Like, I thought, oh, because I'm young, like, people won't trust me. Like, there are people who actually hired me because they're like, oh, you understand technology. And like people who said, wow, I literally hired you because you're Chinese, because you understand my culture, right? So while I understand how certain groups can be held back, I look back on my life and I could have been like, oh, I didn't know English for 10 years, so I'm not going to even try to learn because it's impossible for me to succeed or something. I would never be where I am today, And it's like, have people not hired me because my name is Lee Lin instead of something that sounds white? Probably, I don't know, right? But I'm not going to let that stop me. And to give that to my clients, I think it's incredibly destructive, because we can talk about how certain groups are disadvantaged all the time, but at the end of the day, what are you doing, right? And like, the one thing for me is like, yes, I believe in certain things, but for one of the greatest missions I have is to help people see that you can come from nowhere and you can actually succeed, instead of thinking, oh, I'm in this group and my ancestors were oppressed. And I'm not saying it's right, but I think when I really started taking off was when I stopped wishing I was white, like stop wishing that I was born in this country, and just embrace the fact that I'm here now. And, you know, when somebody told me they were privileged without really knowing me, except for the fact that they were an older white guy, it was weird for me. It was weird for me to listen to that, because it was like, how are you more privileged than I am? Like, I did everything that I wanted to do in this country. Like, I learned English. I got into the school. I got into college. I got a job. I started a business. I did everything it is that I wanted to do. So how can that person say that, oh, had this person had your opportunities, they would have gone further? It's like, then they would have, you know, there's no, and I'm just tired of the pity party, okay? And I really focus on results, because I was in classes in Berkeley when they were saying, oh, the wealth gap is going to be so much wide, it's so much harder for somebody from working class to ascend into the wealthy class. And I remember just sitting in that class as a senior in college, and I was like, that sucks, because I plan to go to the next level. But that subconscious, you know, kind of hatred for people who were the, you know, 1%, the people who were going next level, that was the thing that prevented me. So here's my thing. Is there inequality in the world? Of course there's inequality in the world. Does it help you to think about how, oh, this inequality is insurmountable, I'm never going to be able to get past that, you know? Thanks, Humberto. Yeah, I really think that, you know, if people have defriended me, people have, like, you know, got into arguments with me, but I feel like my philosophy as an Immigrant CEO School founder is that it doesn't matter where you come from. And instead of looking at all the horrible things that you have experienced as something terrible, look at it as an advantage, right? Like, I can't have my business right now if I, you know, didn't use those advantages to my benefit, right? So I really encourage everybody to not look at like a white male as some sort of like a pinnacle thing that you're never going to reach. It's like, there's like millions of like white Americans on welfare. Where's their freaking privilege? And somebody even said, like, and I said, like, okay, what about like the Indian Americans whose average medium income is like 100,000 like annually, right? And but they're like, oh, they still don't have privilege. And I was like, man, and that person called me mastering racism, right? And for me personally, it's like, I'm just tired of people taking the lazy way out, you know, the lazy way out of saying, oh, this person is just racist. And I was called racist many times, but it was like, but where's your argument? Where's your logic, right? Like, if you believe that one group of minority has to be treated as children who cannot move forward regardless of anything else, then if that's not racism, I don't know what is, right? And I really don't take anybody seriously who just throws that serious character accusation just around, because it's like, you can't argue with facts and logic, and you can't make a presentation without character defamation, then I can't take you seriously, right? So I don't know what this video is going to do, but I hope that it clarifies a lot of the things that I've been through over the past few years. You know, been to the crazy Berkeley Liberal School, which taught me a lot, which really, you know, shaped me into the entrepreneur that I am today, and probably kind of helped me even start Immigrant CEO School. But I just like, if I'm not even going to take on those people as clients, because I see how that effect of blaming the environment, blaming the economy, blaming discrimination, how it makes them into just people who blame everything else, right? And I don't take on those clients, and I started realizing, then I don't believe in certain things anymore. And as passionate as I am about helping immigrants, I think, okay, let's explain what I'm going to do instead, okay? What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to help people learn how to use their disadvantages into something good, okay? Like, if you're a speaker who's a minority, take those opportunities that they give for minority speakers. If you're somebody who knows, a different language, get those comments from different languages, okay? There's so many people in the world that need to like look at you and be like, oh my God, you can do that. Like the WeChat people like message me like, oh my God, thank you for just you being successful. It's just inspiration to me. Like one of my mentors, like she's like a millionaire and she's like super successful in love and also in relationships. I was like, thank you so much for just existing because I didn't know it was possible. Welcome, Sylvia. So I think I've reached a pinnacle point of not give a fuckness because I think this is what is wrong with virtue signaling, okay? So let me explain what virtue signaling is. It's to show everybody how inclusive and how awesome and how feminist or non-racist you are, but not really doing anything in the process, right? And so for me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna help immigrants because there's so many Americans that are being helped by Americans, right? And I'm gonna use my language advantage, the fact that I know Mandarin Chinese, to reach the immigrants who are from my community, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna help them, teach them how to freaking go from students who just check boxes to becoming productive members of society, okay, who are making money. I'm gonna help people who, they know Chinese, but they want to be able to start a business online. They don't know how to. I'm going to start helping them with that, right? But if I keep telling them, oh my God, you're an oppressed minority. Oh my God, Whitey is, taking your client. Like if I ever say that about, if any of you guys see me complaining about my business because some white male took it from me, please just kill me, okay? You have my permission. But I just wanted to say this because I think it's permeating so much of our society where it's like, it's better to appear like completely pure and so inclusive, but like, what are you doing afterwards, right? Like if you look at the UK, I love Count Dankula. You guys know Count Dankula? He's like the pug guy. Hey, he's a guy, I laughed so, when I saw his video on YouTube, I just cracked up so much because it was like he was teaching like a cute, innocent little pug how to like, do the Nazi salute. It was like freaking hilarious. I laughed so hard at it. And now he's arrested because it's like racist and it's not. Okay, literally in the video, he's like, I'm not racist, right? And it's like in the comment section, I'll see people say like, are you racist? And then they said no, and then space like racist, right? And like, Lauren Southern and the other girl, Petty something, they were barred from entering the UK. Meanwhile, there are Muslim rapist gangs that have been grooming like young children forever because they were scared to be called racist, right? So for me, it's like, I've been called chink, I've been called go back to China, now I'm being called racist, mastering racism, and I just don't care anymore because like, it's just so ridiculous. I think the people who point out problems are the people who actually work in that field, right? Brittany Pettibone, right? And Sylvia too, like you work with immigrants who are from different countries, right? And then when we have a different opinion about a country, it's like, oh my God, you are not able to do so, right? So I grew up in a communist country, okay? And I'm very grateful for the fact that I can go online, that I can speak about these things, that if I don't like a president, I can vote him out 4 to 8 years. And, when people said Donald Trump was so horrible or whatever, like, I disagreed with it before because that's just what the mainstream wants you to hear. And that's what you see on the Facebook sidebar, right? But the more I, start reading his stuff, if you guys have read Crippled America, How to Make America Great Again, that book, holy shit, I realized all the things that Donald Trump has pointed out about immigration was correct, right? And I work with legal immigrants who want to be able to, work in the US and they're getting shafted because they follow the rules while I do have sympathy for them, but at some point you have to draw the line, right? So I just wanted to let you guys know that the world is going a little bit crazy, okay? But I'm going to stand by what I believe. I'm going to update you guys on what I do believe. And I still believe in helping immigrants succeed because, as a member of that community, I don't think I'm disadvantaged. If anything, there are some rich-ass Chinese millionaire immigrants, or if you prefer to call them expats because they have money now, whatever. You come from a different country, you have balls, gold vagina, whatever like it is you call it. You have some guts, right? And legal immigrants I've met are some of the most hardworking people ever, right? And I'm still going to stand by them. So instead of like virtue signaling, saying, oh, everyone's same, everyone's equal, every country is great. No, like, I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, if you want to succeed in America, it's absolutely possible for you to succeed, but you have to let go of that, oh, I'm oppressed by the white man, my skin color is not the right color, my English has an accent, or whatever the hell it is, because I just don't believe in that shit anymore. Like, I think I just reached a breaking point where I'm just tired of victims who get off on that, because you can't succeed like that. You have to realize how powerful you are. And I see also a lot of like white guilt, like somehow you have to apologize for being who you are. And it's like, your ancestors did that, you know. And some people started calling my Chinese imperialists who are like overtaking Africa. And, you know, here's the thing, okay? Whatever my ancestors did, if I'm not directly responsible, then how can I, right? And if you guys want to compare to Hitler, like, Hitler was the one who literally said all Jews were something else, right? Yeah, exactly. Victimhood is just so exhausting, right? So I'm just tired of people assuming based on a class that you have to do that, right? And I was reading Jordan B. Peterson, and he was saying how these mass shooters, they literally said that, you know, they hated themselves, they hated humanity. So they said, okay, why not just take out as many people as possible before they kill themselves, right? So I think that sort of self-hatred and self-guilt, that doesn't have to do with anything. It just harms everyone, right? So I am going to start from me, right? I'm going to teach immigrants how to become successful, okay? I'm not even going to stand for you guys blaming your skin color. Yeah, exactly. Victimhood eliminates individualism. Exactly, right? Like, there's immigrants who are successful and there's immigrants who are not, right? And what separates the successful people versus the non-successful people? The non-successful people say, oh, it's my family. Oh, it's the economy. Oh, it's the president. Oh, it's the policy. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's always like, there's a, like the Einstein quote was like, there's always, but to stay away from negative people, because there's always a problem with every solution. Exactly, right. Now I realize that. And it's fun. I'm probably not going to read some of my previous articles because they were very SJW, but I felt called to do this video because I hope people can really see that no matter what you're called, you called a racist, called somebody who's non-inclusive or whatever, like, what are the people who are virtue signaling actually doing? You know, I think it's hilarious how, like, I'm the one actually helping immigrants and pointing out problems that need to be solved and actually solving them, and I'm the one who's called that name, right? So you guys can call me whatever names, it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because it's 2018, right? There's an audience for everything. You know, if I bring up like the rule of 34, you know, there's like people do like fan fiction based on cartoons, and then there's like all sorts of people who just like are into niche stuff like that, right? So your audience doesn't have to be American. Your audience can be international, right? And it's like, yeah, exactly. SJWs have a problem for every solution. Maybe I'll do that, right? But I also want to do this because people are like, oh, don't put politics into your thing. But it's like, it's a whole way of life, right? So if you truly believe that you can succeed, then it doesn't matter what freaking color you are, right? You can be dark as night or lily white. Is that racist to say? But I don't even care. Like, you guys are just going to call me whatever names, right? But exactly, right? So it's like we already have things pretty good, right? And I realize that now that I do more of my writing and I kind of expose my writing to a lot of different peoples of different backgrounds, is like, I do come from like a tough mentality. It's like, immigrants, like, we don't give a shit. Like, yes, you can call us names, but like at the end of the day, like, how can I advance myself? You know, how can I provide for my family? How can I become a business owner? Those are the things I worry about, you know what I mean? And like, sure, you know, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but it's how you look at it, right? Again, it's like, I just wish I could go back to my college days where the professor was like, oh, it's very hard for people who are from, you know, working class to advance. I just wish I just got out of that class, because it doesn't help you, right? I mean, we all know racism, sexism exists, but it's like how you deal with it that matters, right? And to say that no matter what you do, it won't work, that's just not me. It's not me anymore, right? Maybe living in Newport Beach for a few months, the most Republican city in California, changed me. But I'm really glad that California is actually Orange County is taking a stand, all right? So, no, I'm not gonna, I just really felt like I had to just do this. So, I don't even know if I want to enable, well, you guys can comment. You guys comment anyways. But I hope this allows you guys to see that I don't take race or gender as an excuse for you to not succeed. Actually, it should be the reason why you succeed, right? Like for me, like when I didn't know English and I was like looking at like my, peers, I was like, I might be behind 10 years, but I'm going to learn English. And I learned English better than they did, which is freaking weird because I was held back a grade in fourth. I was supposed to be in fifth grade. I was held back to fourth grade because there were no ESL classes. And then within 2 years, I skipped a grade and I was in the honors classes, which was freaking weird because people who were supposed to have privilege, supposed to have that language thing, they didn't take the opportunity, right? Didn't take the opportunity. So that's why I'm just no longer an SJW. I do not subscribe to any of the beliefs that one race of people is inherently more privileged than the other, because you just have right now and everything is possible for you to change. All right. So thanks for watching, and ex-SJW signing off. And really, I do feel like I'm a business owner who helps other people. Okay. Because business is what really makes the world turn around. So hopefully you learned something from this, and I'll see you.